As disciples of Jesus, we are called to live our life on mission. And part of living life on mission is telling other people Jesus' story. Let's take a moment and think about Jesus' story together. Now, it begins in Genesis 1 with God creating everything good, and his masterpiece in creation was humanity, which he designed in his image. And as image bearers, we were designed to reflect God's moral character and his goodness and his righteousness and his love and his faithfulness. However, image bearers rejected God and actually listened to the lies of the enemy, and sin began to plague and distort creation. It created a chasm between us and God. It distorted our relationship with him and our relationship with one another. But God made a promise to repair and restore things. He made a promise to crush the head of the serpent. And the story of the Bible continues looking for that one who would do that. Now in Genesis 12, God calls a particular guy in a particular family named Abraham, and God promises to bless him and his family, and through that would come blessings to all of the families. Now as we follow the story, we find that Abraham's family also has the same sin problem that everyone else has. And although there are some good moments, there are still some very, very ugly moments. But God continues to make a promise. There is a king on the way who would usher in the kingdom of God and would redeem and rescue a broken creation. And when we arrive at the New Testament, we find out who it is. It's King Jesus. He is God incarnate who has come to be what we could never be, to live the life that every one of us failed to live. And yet Jesus Christ, in his perfect goodness and his perfect righteousness, and even though he was sinless, Jesus goes to the cross on our behalf to receive the wrath of God, the justice of God for our sin, to be the Lamb who takes away the sin of the world. And Jesus dies in our place, and he's laid in the tomb. But a few days later, he got up, and he defeated death, and he defeated our greatest foe, and he is the way and the truth and the life. And he calls people, come, follow me, submit your life to me, and come be a part of what I'm doing. And Jesus' people, Jesus' followers are people who are forgiven, people who are embraced by God, people who are loved, and people who are learning to grow as followers of Jesus. But the story doesn't end there, because one day Jesus is going to come back. He's going to make all things new. And all things evil will be pulled out of God's good creation and cast into a place of utter destruction forever. And all Jesus' redeemed people will live together in a loving relationship with him and with one another. The Bible begins in a garden and it ends in a city, a good city, a restored city. And we're waiting right now for King Jesus to come back and to make all things new.